Well, hello and welcome, everybody. We are the Shills, and this is our midweek pub chat. Tonight, we've got DKGCustom and Brainy Beaver joining us, and we're going to be looking at a little D-Marble fail. Oh, he gets everything wrong. This is going to be some really fun stuff. So, let's see who's with us tonight, see what's going on in the world, and get into the action. We've got Kevin Kennedy here tonight. Hey, buddy, how's everything with DeadKennedyInSpace?
Oh, I'm awake. You know, so someone forgot to drop the fish food in my jar, so I'm a little off kilter, but I'm here.
Oh, we'll get on maintenance right away, buddy. We'll get that fixed up. Sorry. Things been very busy over on the channel. Looks like you've been having a lot of fun with Mr. Riley.
Yeah, I had some fun with Riley for the last video. Been coordinating behind the scenes to get some more debates and some more live streams set up, and yeah, it's been fun. There's not too much to announce at the moment, though. I'm trying to think. I feel like there was one big thing that I wanted to mention, and now I've forgotten what it was. So it must not have been that important.
Right on. Well, we know there'll be some good stuff for sure. Right on. Hey, Logical Troglodyte, man, what's happening in Cave Town, buddy?
Hey, man, we have had so many contacts asking us to comment about rumors and speculations. Apparently, the world news organizations have been contacting our press agents in Cave Town, and we're going to have to set up a press conference to address all these things. One of the rumors is that Danny Pratt has chased me off the internet. So we've got to set the record straight. And so that'll be coming out hopefully sometime this week.
Excellent. Oh, I can't wait. I can only imagine the kind of response that will garner. Ooh, that's going to be good. And we got Aimee Hogan running the show tonight. Aimee, how's it going?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, very good, thanks. Very good. All set and ready for some good stuff tonight?
I sure am. I just want to thank everybody for coming, and thank you for the guests for coming on, too.
Awesome.
I hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah, definitely. And our producer, Tatty, how's it going, buddy? What's happening your way?
All right, Trips, how's it going? Oh, just chowing and showing as always, Doc. Chowing and showing as always.
Right on. Love it. All set for some good fun tonight, too?
Oh, yeah. Got some real nice ones lined up, man.
Yeah. I think this D-Marble will be some real fun. Recommended by our first guest of the evening, DKGCustom. Hey, man, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hello, you buggers. Great to be here.
How's things your way? What are you up to these days?
Oh, work, and more work. Silly things like that. My wife's in hospital. She's been in hospital for 2 weeks now, so we've got that to deal with. So yeah, just lots of stuff. Nothing fun.
Any planned debunks coming up on the channel soon?
Well, no. I've kind of walked away from it quite a lot. But if something comes up that sticks out, I will jump on it as quick as I can. You know.
Oh, I might just have to send a few items your way to see if we can't spark a little creativity into you. That would be awesome for sure.
Well, you know, I do think about coming back to it quite often, and I actually had like an A4 pad that was just full of notes and writing, because one of the things I was going to do was just go through the history, the whole flat Earth. Adventures on YouTube of all the different characters and who they are. Like I say, I wrote this great big A4 pad, and in the end, I just thought, "Oh, fuck it," and threw it out.
Oh no, yeah. We gotta get some encouragement here, everybody watching. Let's get him back into this, because as you'll see as the evening goes, it would be a very good thing for us all. Excellent debunking and really good stuff. All right, and we've got Brainy Beaver with us tonight as well. Hey, buddy, how's it going your way, man? How are things? Oh, is he there? Is he not there?
I'm muted.
Oh, how's it going, man?
I'm okay. Busy, always busy. I just
Yeah.
I don't know how people catch up or keep up or I've been not gaining subscribers at all, really. I've been kind of stagnated because I think I'm not releasing enough videos. So I'm gonna try to correct that. Something I'm working on. I've still got that logical and was it Dead Kennedy? You guys got me those pieces for that PSA, but I haven't ended up fleshing that out because I'm still waiting for Fight. He's had computer problems and all kinds of things. So.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it's you because you've been doing a lot of live streaming and videos as well. So, how are you finding the mix? How's is it working or?
Well, I enjoy live streaming, and I think as much as I don't do this for money. But as much as like I kind of do need money right now, like a lot of us, right? So I don't do this as a source of income, but you do make a lot more money because it's amazing how if you got 100 people watching, or even you get 200 or 300 people go through your stream, and the odd person throws you $5 or $2, that little bit of donation can go a long way. I see that I'm partly on the screen there. It can go a long way to it can go a long way. Like that extra $20 or $30 on a stream. That's money that I get to use to try to feed the kids and stuff like that. So, I've been doing a bit more of it because I've been enjoying getting a little bit of money back. But at the same time, it's not what a lot of the people that signed up for videos are into. So what I think I'm seeing in the analytics is like I'm not losing subscribers. It's a slow gain, like 1 or 2 subscribers a day. But what I'm noticing is I think I'm losing old subscribers that are leaving because I'm not putting a content that they want to watch right now, and then I'm gaining new subscribers. So I'm gaining people that are enjoying the live streams and stuff, but I'm losing people that were signed up maybe for the original Brainy Beaver content that I was producing. So I got to try to strike a balance between the two, right? So I don't want to lose too many people. You want to gain, not lose. So. Well, I was just going to add one more thing. The only other thing too is I've been busy and I haven't been able to release weekly. So then, of course, no offense to all you people out there watching, but you're all like cattle. And if I don't feed you at the same time every week, you stop coming back. And that's truth be told, that's how we all are. If all of a sudden you start tuning into your favorite creator and they just don't have videos on Friday anymore, on Saturday, for next thing you know, it's sporadic. You just don't know when they're gonna have a video. It's the same. Okay, what kills a TV show, guys? They move days on the week. Yeah. All of a sudden, nobody shows. Everybody's like, I don't know where they are anymore. If they do that twice in 2 years, they're fucked as far as I'm concerned. The audience will never follow them to 2 other time zones or channels.
Or Fox fucks it up and plays the second episode first, and everybody gets confused and annoyed.
When did that happen? What did that happen with?
That was Firefly.
They did that with Firefly? Oh, no wonder Firefly got shut down. Everybody was fucked at that point. They were like, I don't know what's going on. A bunch of cowboys.
The production history of that show is like the most tragic thing ever. Like, you completely understand why it got canceled by the time you realize everything that happened. But God,
what a wonderful fucking show. What a wonderful show that they shut down. The potential in that show. It was amazing. I'm not even a steampunk fan. And I think it was the best amalgamation of like, like modern sci-fi meets like gunslinger Western. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, I love that.
I loved it myself. Yeah, we do have to get to a super chat that came in before there. James Collins, it's £2 or €2. I shouldn't be looking on my small screen. Shit, sorry. Thanks, James. And this is because I'll have to download. Too late for me. Well, me in the future here, we might have some other time zone shows that'll suit you. So let's see how it plays out. But thanks, James. Love it. Awesome. Was there a second one? Did somebody want to do for us?
There was. It was, it was John Rapp for Australian $5. He said, for Bickies for Kevin and everyone else, or if you must, cookies. G'day and... Oh, wait, hang on. G'day and have a good weekend. No, say it again quickly. Blend it. It's Strine. I can't do Strine.
Points up.
Too funny. So to everybody here who's been looking around, who's been finding some funny and some silly, what have you all seen? Anybody got any stories of woo for us going here?
What I'm working on right now is 2 things. I have the first. Okay, so the first one I'm working on is I'm pretty sure I found Hans Wormhat's wife, and I'm not kidding. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No way.
Yeah, well, okay, so the channel's called, I have it right here, 1 second. It's like Heidi Wormhat.
Heidi Wormhat.
No, I'm serious. It's like, okay, where is it? It's Conspiracies by Heidi Wormhat.
Wow.
Because all of it's oh fuck, they are like he has mentioned having a wife before, like, oh, when we were driving up the coast, my wife and I, he said things like that, so he's indicated that he has one. Well, I mean, she's the way she goes over the conspiracy is very much like him. Just if you line them up, the way they talk it's uncanny. They're probably, it might be his actual wife.
I just got to put this to the panel really quickly. On her channel 2 years ago, the transvestigation of Betty Boop.
Was that on that channel? Did you just look it up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the one I'm working on. Sorry, go ahead.
I thought Heidi Wormhat was actually Hans with a voice changer.
Oh, I don't think so. This is a real woman's voice. I mean, I can do voice changer here with my voice mod, but this is a real woman. But anyways, this one's what are the Northern Lights? She says that the Earth is a pyramid, and that there's a gigantic satellite at the north that's producing all the radiation that the Nordic nations receive. Because I guess all that radiation in the north is a sign that that's where the satellite that I don't know. Fuck. There's a lot of things said in that video. Let's put it that way. And then the only other thing I'm working on right now is 5G. I actually have kind of done a little bit of research here, and I've discovered, and this is actually a true to life conspiracy now, guys. Russia is behind the 5G craziness because America. Okay, so America's blocked Huawei, and Huawei cannot get into the American market. Russia is behind on 5G, and what they're trying to do is they're using RT, Russia Today media, and they're actually, like, if you watch, I can show you a Russia Today news story on YouTube where the woman's using words like, oh no, it's not a big deal, it's just something small, it could kill you. And then they like talking about how it causes cancer, causes this, they know it does this, they know it does that. And they've been fined in the UK for lying, blatantly misrepresenting information. Like, they are a known propaganda machine, and they're literally funded directly by the Russian government. And they have been, as America has been ramping up its 5G deployment, they've been ramping up their vitriolic talk of how it's knocking birds out of the sky and it's doing this and that. And it's all because if they can get America, the American populace, to get their own government wound up, and like even in Canada, it's the same thing, so you go to put a 5G tower up, and next, the neighborhood's up in arms, and they don't want 5G, and the whole process is to slow America's progress down and try to make it so that they don't get 5G deployment as fast as Russia's hoping they can get a foothold on their 5G and then start expanding worldwide before America can do it. Because there's a massive amount of industry that's going to come from 5G because of the amount of technology that's going to become available from it. So this is what I'm working on right now. This might take a little longer because I want to make sure I have all my ducks lined up.
Well, never mind all this irrelevant shit. I want to know what the beef is with Betty Boop.
That's a good point.
The transvestigation of Betty Boop.
How do you transvestigate a cartoon character?
Well, surely the go-to character would have been Bugs Bunny, because he was always.
Oh
dressed
no,
as a
Jessica Rabbit. Jessica Rabbit.
Oh no, that was a real woman.
Jessica Rabbit. Are we talking about the we're talking about the Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Was her name Jessica Rabbit?
Yeah.
The red dressed like knockout girl in that movie, the cartoon.
Yes,
I don't think
that's a great. I haven't seen that movie in so long. That's such a good movie.
I don't think we know what her maiden name was, but she was married to Roger. That's why she's Jessica Rabbit.
You know what? I want to see that movie now. Now you guys just threw a nostalgia trip back at me. I'm just thinking about. My phone is ringing.
In the scenes that hit the cutting room floor, I hear she's really good with a carrot. So I don't know.
God.
His logic isn't in the chat, is she?
I know if Jessica Rabbit is, she's going to be mad at me. So that was a tangent and a half. What else has anybody found? Logical, you done any hunting? What have you been finding?
Yeah, I don't remember if I mentioned this on our last stream or if this is in one of our private voice chats, but I was watching a lady who was talking about being on a crystal high. And my first thought was, yeah, I know what kind of crystal you're talking about. And then she starts showing a box of rocks, amethyst and opals and all kinds. And it's like, are you freaking serious? You know, you're not supposed to be snorting them. You just have to set them in around because they're pretty. What's wrong with you?
Wow. Not just for charging in moonlight anymore. Now they get you all high. That's a good one. I like that. You're gonna have to give me a link. I have to see that for sure.
I think one of the most amusing things I've seen this week was the Globe Earth Lie tour. You know, they keep running into the police, and so they put up a 5-minute video where they're actually secretly filming 2 policemen in Rome who look like they're just writing a ticket to some girl on a moped, and it's like the most pathetic, worst filmed kind of what do you call it? What do you call that thing when they do? I can't remember what you call it. Yeah, when you testing the copper. When you testing the coppers. Testing the coppers. What's that called? Come on, what's the word? I had it in my mind. Anyway, they're basically like secretly filming these cops, and they're just doing their job because there's so many run-ins with the police now. Like any time they see the police, they just feel like, you know, they have to point it out. And really, I think they were Roman police. I think they were just writing the beautiful woman a love letter.
I think I know what you're looking for. It's Exhibit A in a stalker case.
Oh, I know what it is. Auditors. They call them.
There we go, everybody. I didn't know it was time to introduce, but Constable Conspicuous has joined us tonight as well. Hey, Constable, it's good to have you on, buddy. How are you?
I'm back, bitches. I'm back.
All right. How's things, man? How is everything in your world? You doing good?
You know, just college and all that sort of stuff, you know, taking a break to actually realize that, hey, the world is not filled with absolute paranoid delusional morons for a good few months. That helps my sanity quite a bit.
Nice. Well, right on, man. It's awesome you could join us. Excellent. So
I got bored.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to derail you completely there, DK. Jump back in and take that over again. I just wanted to make sure we got our introductions.
It's no problem. It was no problem. That was about it. That's about the story, really. It was just such a pathetic thing with them desperately trying to film these policemen, and they were just basically doing their job. It's like they were waiting for them to do something, you know, pounce on somebody, kill somebody, beat somebody up. No, they're just writing a ticket.
Well, that certainly makes what I'm about to talk about normal. This one's a bit of a long story. So, a few days ago, I was browsing around the YouTubes and decided to get back into the whole debunking thing. I was like, which of my favorites should I watch first? I decided to watch some Vice Rhino because that guy is pretty good at what he does. Now, he did a video of on one guy who claimed that Christianity was the most unviolent religion in history. I'll just let that settle in for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't bore any malice. All I'll say is that I don't bore any malice of anyone's faith, as long as you're still a rational human being.
Well said.
That's, I mean, I'm not going to bash religion. I have very good friends of mine who are religious, and they are still very rational people. They notice the evidence, they don't bash evolution. But then I ran into one guy who, I don't know what kind of history books this dude has been reading. But, I decided to make like a funny little comment of like, the Crusades ring any bells? And I saw this one guy and, like called the Truth Channel, and to quote the Nostalgia Critic, of course, and I just see him going off the rails, trying to say that the Catholic Church was a political institution and that the Crusades were for political reasons.
Yeah, what was wrong with the Crusades? I mean, there's nothing like bashing religion into people. Surely that's the best way to do it.
That's just the truth. The Crusades were a religious war over Jerusalem. That's fact.
Yes. Believe in Christ or follow this sword.
I mean, how can you say it was political when? Correct me if I'm wrong, but did the Pope at the time not say, "I will grant a place in the kingdom of God to anyone who goes and fights in this"?
Yeah, his almost exact words were, "If you go out to fight for the Crusades, all sins will be forgiven." It was a get out of hell. He was giving out a get out of hell free card.
Yeah, he was handing out free passes.
Ouch.
Because that's how that works.
So my curiosity was piqued about the lovely individual, so I decided to check out his channel. I don't know what the hell I expected. Maybe I spent too much time around rational people at my college. My mistake. My mistake.
Was it just?
Oh,
was it right out of hand?
I left him one snarky comment on his latest video saying, "So, no physical evidence for any of your religious extremism." Okay, lets me like two. He likes leaving you 2 comments at a time in like black bold letters, because I mean that's just the way I'm going to preface this. Religious extremists are not people of faith in general. Religious extremists, they are on a goddamn hair trigger, and pardon my language. So yeah, I decided to keep having some fun with them. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I've just got to say, what you brought up earlier about, the fact that you're hanging around, college people who have got a fucking brain. Because the only people we talk to about the nonsense are basically us, each other. Because have you ever been in those situations where you turn to someone and just said, there's people that think the earth is flat, and you just get that blank expression of someone who's never even heard of it, and they go, what? And then you have to go, oh no, that's not even the start of it. you start telling them all the shit you've seen being amongst this community, and it's like people are actually just like
they're looking at you. They start looking at you like you're a war vet telling some of the horror stories of what happened to your unit. I mean, no offense to any vets in this chat, but I mean that's the look they're giving you.
Yeah, they actually look at you as if you're the nutter.
And that's why I was such a closeted guy about this until my family finally figured out. I told them about the couple of debates I've been in with these guys, and I'm just like, but all right, yeah. I mean, it was admittedly embarrassing to talk about this because this is the 21st century, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Oh man, do I ever know what you mean? Because I had that exact conversation recently where I said something in passing about my YouTube channel, and they said, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel? What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I debunk conspiracies, and the biggest one I focus on is, did you know people still think the Earth is flat?" And they'll go, "What?" But we have pictures from space, and I'll go, "Oh no, space is fake," and I'll start explaining the basics of NASA is a fraud and all that kind of crap, and their eyes just kind of glaze over, and they're like, "What?"
They're looking at you like you're they look at you like you were trying to sell them drugs.
Yeah.
I actually, Kennedy, I actually had a very, very similar conversation, and when they just basically come back, look, this is pictures from space. So basically, I just took on the role of the flat earther and just gave them back all the answers that flat earthers gave, and you could just see them getting desperate, trying to debunk me. But as a flat earther, I had all the answers. They couldn't come back with anything because you could just throw them off.
Well, depending on your definition of answers, I could. I mean,
I didn't say they were right answers.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was no
okay,
definition of correct or incorrect. There was no definition of correct or incorrect. They're just steadfast answers that the person will not have arguments over.
That's how they were able to last for so goddamn long. It makes total sense now. Okay, but I'm sorry, but I gotta get back to my story because I've only touched the tip of the iceberg. And I'm still getting replies from this nutter. So the Truth Channel, I was like, okay, obvious creationist from the looks of things. Could be fun for like one of the guys I could debunk for to bring my channel back, because I do owe you guys that, to anyone who is actually a subscriber of mine. I'm sorry for my hiatus. I hope to get back soon, and because it is fun to like get the gray matter working. So
indeed,
yeah,
I'm still getting fucking replies from this nut job.
Yeah, but that's the best thing ever. Is he commenting on your videos?
Huh?
Is he commenting on your videos? That's the best thing you can ever ask for.
He hasn't commented on any of my videos. I've commented it on his, just to get some jazz, get him, throw the bait out there. Kind of like
you all need somebody like Vlad. That's what you need. You all need somebody like Vlad. You pin he says something, you pin the comment, and then he piss matches with every person that comments on it. He gets in there and says something
like that.
He just it's amazing. He replied. I have the one string. He has. All I was gonna say is he has 130. No, it's like 150 replies on his one pinned comment. There's 300 comments. He has half of them. It's amazing.
I did something like that with Ross Thatcher. Dick, you remember that, right? I pinned off his comments, and he went off the rails.
Oh man, that was insanity.
It was like
also.
21.
Also, when we did the video on that guy with Andy Flatter there, Constable, holy, remember that guy must have spanned the comments with 300 messages. It was unbelievable.
He's crazy too.
All right, but to anyone who's curious about that, I did a video a while back on like my post-debate thoughts on the Non Sequitur show before, Kyle just ended up to shit can the whole thing.
Before the dark times.
Yeah, before the dark time.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I will say I was glad to get on to the Non Sequitur show before, before shite hit the fan blades. And thank you again to FTF the fight, Godless Engineer, and Bob the Science Guy for helping me out with that. Oh, hang on 1 second.
Yeah. Oh, I should get to a couple of super chats here. I'll take the first one. Was it John Rapp, Australian $5? Okay, John's team, listen to this. Move your left foot all the way forward. Now move your right foot. Forward as far as it goes. Good. Now repeat. And anybody want to take that second one, guys?
Yeah, I'll take that. Australian $5 from Christopher Hogan. I noticed their red-haired goddess has not have her channel in the list of recommended channels. Would like to subscribe if she has one. I assume they're talking about Miss Aimee.
Well, I checked on that one, and when I look down in the description here, I see Aimee, and I see Kiri, and I see Babe. So, I'm not sure what to say, but
pop them all in the live chat just to make sure he can find them.
Yeah, we'll get some link dropping going on here, and then that way we'll get that all fixed up.
Maybe he meant Jessica Rabbit.
Oh yeah, it could be.
Oh wait, I just sorry to go off, but I did go off on a big tangent when I talked about Ross. I got to finish my story about Truth Channel.
Yeah, give her.
I was like, okay, I'll browse through this guy, see what he's got. Then I saw him take like something from this interview. It was it was titled. The video was titled, "Can you be a gay Christian?" I was like, oh, this is gonna be a coin toss. How this goes. I should have known what to expect, but it was basically this interview of this guy who is who says he quote unquote was a homosexual. I didn't listen to the whole thing because I wanted to get to the meat of where this was going, but the gist of what I got from that interview was that he was invited over to a church. He started hearing like the preacher, and supposedly after hearing the praising, he said he was no. Is there something wrong?
Oh no, I'm trying to send you into our little back chat thing here, and I totally screwed it up. Keep going, no worries.
Okay, so anyway, he started saying after
You robot it right out there.
It's going right in, man.
I roboted out. Should I repeat it?
Yeah.
Please.
He said after he converted to Christianity, he was no longer a homosexual. I'll let that process.
Yeah, what that's
I mean, those people, that's that whole retraining crap. It's been proven in like time and time again that they're really only just lying when they're done. I mean, because they end up getting
nothing else to say to that. I had nothing else to say. I literally just had to say, so you're basically a repulsive human being.
Yeah.
Anybody that comes out of that retraining and says that they've been trained not to be homosexual either wasn't homosexual to begin with, or they're lying. That's all there is to it. You can't electroshock therapy into somebody into not being homosexual because it's not I don't want to say it's a disability, but they've already proven that there's a weight difference between.
That's sadly only the.
Well, but they've taken, for instance, they've taken a heterosexual male's brain and they've taken a homosexual male's brain and they've weighed them and they don't weigh the same on average. But then they took a female heterosexual's brain and they compared it to a male male homosexual brain, and they had much more of the same shape and characteristic, weight, everything. So, and then of course that supports the running theory that there's a breakdown in the womb. For instance, if you have 4 or 5, let's say you have 5 children and they're all boys, they don't understand the correlation between female homosexuality, but they're starting to understand male homosexuality, because we all start as female and we start as female and we become male. So what happens is when you're becoming a male, they think that what happens is they've shown that if you have more males, the farther down the chain you are, the more likely you are to actually become homosexual. So what they think is happening is the testosterone in the baby's body is creating a battle in the umbilical cord section with the mother's body over estrogen, and at some point the mother's body eventually wins and starts flooding the little male baby's body with estrogen, which changes the way the brain develops. So they think it's literally like an immunity thing, like the mother's body becomes like her body's seeing the testosterone like an attack, so it starts like learning how to fight it, and that's why the more boys you have, the more the mother's body's learning to fight it, and eventually her body's able to push past and like surge the estrogen into the baby's body. So then it creates a problem with the brain development, because the brain is the last part of the body to develop in the baby, right? So anyways,
well, holy
fun. Just so everybody knows, I know a little bit about everything because I just read. I like reading. I see an article, it's interesting, I read it. But then I don't just take the information off that article, I become inquisitive about it. So then I do more reading because I think, well, that's really interesting. I wonder why this is. And then that's how I know a little bit about a lot of subjects, because I just tend to move in that direction.
Yeah.
Right.
I read a book once.
Aimee needs to jump in. Sorry, guys. Hold on.
Yeah, that was long-winded. I apologize. I'll stand back now.
Yeah, no worries.
Not a problem. Thanks. Ugly German True said the Crusades are complicated. One of the reasons was that Europe was chock full of aristocratic sons that could not inherit anything because they were not born first. And instead of them craving for war against the Christians, it was easier to direct them at the heathens, quote unquote Muslims, to conquer new land and to leave their own offspring. And then Bob Jenkins says Vlad looks like a creepy hand puppet to me.
Vlad?
Yes. Ash Scott says they weren't even gay in the first place. They're like the flatards who pretend they used to be normal. And then Ugly German Truth says weight is a pretty meaningless attribute for brains in terms of inner workings and intelligence.
Well, but it just shows a comparison in it's just showing that there was a similarity between a male homosexual brain and a heterosexual female brain, which would, you're right. It has nothing to do with the inner workings, but let's face it, they were saying that the homosexual male brain didn't look like the heterosexual male brain. It looked more like a heterosexual female brain. So they said they didn't say this is conclusive, but at the same time,
this is definitely a step in the right direction of like figuring this out.
They're just trying to understand. It's just a matter of understanding. It's like anything. The more you understand, the reason that homosexuality is so frightening to a lot of people is that they don't understand it. So they have this illegitimate fear that somehow gayness is going to rub off on them at the bar or something. Like they're gonna. you know what I mean? They'll brush up against a person. The person's gonna all of a sudden they're gonna touch hands with them, and they're gonna be flooded with emotions that they never had before. Like it's such a weird distinction to try to have that idea that somehow these people are gonna affect
Okay, just one more thing. And I'm sorry I have to do it, but this is ultimate clickbait. Hang on, let me just get my camera on set. Do anyone who's wondering what I look?
What's up? What are you doing?
I clipped my microphone. Hang on.
We've seen your sexy exterior.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, we should move to a different subject ultimately because this one's demonetized city boy.
Oh yeah. Oh, go for it.
In fact, you're yellow right now. If you go look, I'm telling you.
Oh, definitely.
Can you see it? Can you see the camera?
I see a blurry mark because I'm watching it through Meets.
Sorry, it's okay. This is working less. This is not working at all how I planned it.
What was that?
So my video.
I was trying to get my dog in the camera.
So get this, guys. I was able to take a video the other day, and I was able to monetize and demonetize it at will by switching the title.
Oh,
I was able to take the video. It was the Breakfast with Britain Flat Earth debate or whatever, or Flat Earth debate debunk hangout, and I changed the thumbnail and the title to reflect the fact that we went over the Anthony peeing thing. So I put the exact same thumbnail, but with Anthony sitting on his toilet that I made, that meme, in the background, but you can't see anything other than just his upper side of his body holding the phone and giving that wincing face. And the change in the title plus the thumbnail was enough to within 3 minutes it demonetized. So I went back and I changed the thumbnail back, and I changed the title back, and it 3 minutes later you could refresh it and it would remonetize. So then I changed the title. So then I left the thumbnail. I was trying to figure out what did it. So I left the thumbnail and I changed the title, and it stayed monetized for an hour or two. But then I was at the hockey game with my son and I looked at my phone and I was like, fucking demonetized. So then I went in and I changed on my phone at the hockey game. I changed the title back to Flat Earth, back to Breakfast with Britain, Flat Earth Debunk Hangout. And I updated it. And 3 minutes later, I hit refresh and it was remonetized again.
Cool. So good experiment.
So the AI is literally, in that case, that's bullshit. My video apparently was fine, but you're going to demonetize me or monetize me based on my thumbnail or my title. And I've never had a thumbnail that's been reported by anybody. There's never been, I mean, Jesus Christ, there's got to be something they can do to build some sort of trust with people. I mean, I'm not going to upload a porn title. Thank you. I know better. Like, you can trust me a little bit here. You don't need to demonetize me because the AI saw a little bit of flesh on my thumbnail. Sorry, he's wearing shorts. How, like, fuck off.
But look at it from the other side. Some of the big YouTubers that really built up a following and kept it clean enough slip one time and then boom, no trust for anyone, right?
Yeah, but,
it's happened enough, you know?
Yeah, but you know what? That asshole probably still get that thumbnail by, though. That asshole, Jake there could probably have put the same thumbnail and title that I got demonetized on. I bet you he doesn't get it. Because there's no way they treat them the same way they treat us. Otherwise, these people wouldn't even be making money.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Logan Paul even still exists in the online celebrity world after filming a dead body and putting it on YouTube tells you all you need to know about the way they treat certain people.
If you're making the money, you're more important to them. Like, I'm sure the reason I haven't got a join button is because other people have been live streaming more than I have until more recently. I've been doing a bit more, but I'm sure it's because they just have they look at how many donations they got, how many hours of live streaming, because every other channel that's gotten the live button, like even Radical live streams every one of his videos. So he live streams like every week. Like he's been doing it for half a year now. Well, of course he got a join button. AT2 Productions, that's basically all he does is live stream. Well, he got a join button at 1,100. You know, you're not supposed to get it to 30,000. 30,000 subs is the join button level, and meanwhile, every channel around me has a join button but me.
Yeah,
and none of them are 30,000. So it's all about the algorithm seeing whether or not you're worth it.
Yeah, if they can get their cut out of you,
just
right?
Getting back into this YouTube thing, and I'm getting scared again. Ugh. Oh God! I'm starting to remember why.
The views are way down because this flat Earth, them limiting flat Earth searches has affected us. Because I can tell you, when I started a year ago, that was like in December, January, February, they were just starting to talk about like changing the AI to weed out flat Earth, and there was a massive decline in views over the course of the spring and into the summer.
Yeah,
Thing is-
everybody that does flat Earth debunking has seen that, and you can see in the scene that people are starting to look for other targets, and I think part of the reason is you want to be able to at least have a fair fight.
Well, I think you've got to make, if you're going to make flat Earth videos, you've got to make flat Earth videos because you want to do it, not because you want a YouTube algorithm to make you famous or something like that.
Well, I want both, really. Like, if I could choose.
Speaking of whole like the flat Earth thing, like I do have like one big nagging question. And I'm sorry if you guys have already covered this because like I've been out of the game for so long. Is it like, are the rumors true? Has the movement finally died its last death?
Oh, it'll never die.
I'm not going to say it's dead. It's just its interest in it on the debunking side is dying because it's just
boring.
all the same thing over and over again. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, how many times can I do that guy video?
But it's like I mean, okay.
Well, I'll tell you.
Dead's not exactly the right term to use, but
a lot of people are saying flat Earth is dead. It's not dead. It's going to carry on. I'll tell you when it's dead. Is when there are no more flat Earth conferences. That's when it's dead.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, has it taken like a big hit?
To me, I'm seeing a changing of the guard more than anything. We've had a few people crash and burn and fail, wrap up. A couple of minor players like Scotty Storm and what was that other moron who's now doing comic books or whatever?
Fucking Ben.
D-Marble.
Yeah, no, D-Marble. We've got a video of his queued up just in case for after. We've had some people bow out and change and drop off and Patricia Steer or whatever and so on. But I think in the end it's just a revolution because it's very Dunning-Kruger, and as such they're just going to keep coming.
Well, you mentioned Patricia. Like, I'm just gonna.
Oh, you roboted right out there.
I'll say right now,
again, buddy.
I mean, not like anything to this guy. Okay, am I better?
Yeah.
All right. This is what I will say about Patricia. I don't necessarily agree on how she what she talked about, but I did like the way she was trying to run her channel. Like, I will give credit where it's due. She tried to run a civilized discussion type of
Ranty's
channel.
doing the same thing right now. He's actually got a pretty good forum set up.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, the one thing I feel bad about Patricia is that she's sadly gone through a field with people who are just paranoid, delusional, greedy whack jobs. And sadly with her just with most of and I got to admit it, most of the big names of the flat Earth movement, basically being a patriarchy. Sadly, they just started targeting her, especially the big fanatics. So,
well, I think it was less a patriarchy thing, and the more that all flat earthers tend to be transphobic.
And that wasn't ever that big rumor that she was actually a transsexual.
And that's what I think it was. Is that latched on, and they never let go of.
They just started going nuts. I mean, great. I mean, that's just the nature. That's just the nature of the beast. Sadly, if you can believe something as ridiculous as the flat Earth, you'll believe anything.
Oh yeah.
So, I just felt honestly felt really bad for Patricia with what she had to go through with these people. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I don't know who exactly was the biggest cause for all of these.
I'm pretty sure the reason she left was there was a big situation with Anthony Subarats where somebody. I think I heard that he had promised to marry her and stuff like that, and then they had intercourse, and then he backed out, which is actually illegal in California. It's rape.
Jesus Christ!
So the thing is, that's what it was all about. It was a rape. It was a rape conversation. It was he raped her, but then everybody was like, "Well, hold on, he didn't rape her. But in California, that is if you, I believe somebody had said it in California under the law there that if you coerce somebody to have sex by promising marriage or something like that, that is actually equated to a rape because you knowingly lied to them or something. I don't know. I don't know California. Maybe that might be totally fucking wrong, everybody. I have no idea.
Yeah, it is kind of wrong. It all went beyond that because Antonio Subriats started calling her a tranny and
okay, I see.
And then that started spreading through their own community. Their own community started, calling her out and being vicious to her. So she just left because of them.
Orphan was doing videos on her every day. Every single day, Orphan was just talking about Patricia and how I don't think Anthony raped her and all that stuff. I mean, there was entire 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours. You've seen her streams; they go for like 8 fucking hours.
Well, nobody listens to it's obvious nobody's listening to a fucking thing she says. I think we've established that.
She has a pretty decent following.
I was going to say, how the hell can she...
None of them, I guarantee none of them give a single flying fuck what she's saying. Let's be honest.
Yeah, she knows that. Look at her fucking thumbnails.
Dead Kennedy, you wanted in there, buddy?
I actually, you know what? That was a little while ago, and I kind of forgot what I was going to say because we've been jumping around a lot of different subjects.
My bad.
I totally forget what I was thinking.
Guide us, Dick. Come on, Dick. Guide us, you big bad Dick.
Yeah, try it.
You got to be hard on the beaver.
That page was freezing up on me, and I didn't want to refresh it because then it would totally screw it all up. But I do know Aimee wants in now, so I can get it right this time.
Awesome. But
thank you. Ash Scott says monetization isn't a right. The advertisers are the customer, and they get to choose what videos to spend their money putting ads on. YouTube just can't police it all. They don't have the manpower. And then Mellowbird says I think there is a trust system. I've uploaded over 300 videos over 10 years and only had 2 demonetized. I think it takes the age of your channel into account as well. Sweet Heathen says, not sure it'll ever die, but it can stay buried, which is flat earth. There will always be a handful of nuts. Just have to keep them from spreading the stupid as best we can. They're basically the herpes of YouTube. Forever learning.
It'll never die.
Forever like luggage, man.
Sorry, Amy.
Exactly.
I was worried I was going to be on a shortage of subjects for my comeback.
Exactly.
Not around here, man. Give her, Amy. Go.
Thank you. And then Forever Learning says, when all debunkers turn to more interesting subjects, FE is left unopposed and they will celebrate it as a big win. Dark Knight Apologetics says, I really hope Flat Earth dies out soon so we can go back to young Earth creationism being the only harmless anti-science on the internet. And then C4 said, Chris Berry says today on his channel that he's about done with Flat Earth because Flat Earthers have destroyed all of our globe talking points. And then Ash Scott said, no, Patricia Steer literally said he literally raped her. And that was the last conversation you guys were having.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So I was way off on what I heard.
But
so there you go. That's how the information gets fed through the internet. You know, you listen to this stream or that stream, and then you hear Orphan Red talking about it, and this person talks about it, and you're like, I don't even know what happened. Let's face it.
What is even the truth anymore? But Aimee, thank you for bringing up young Earth creationism. I might as well just start like telling you guys and whoever's. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
I got a big announcement. I've only told a few people about this. I've got big plans for my comeback video.
Oh, good. What are you doing?
I'm going to leave it at this.
Little hint?
Yeah, I'm going to be giving a little hint. And this is I'm not sure how good this is going to be, but I'll leave it to this. Thou shalt not lie.
Cool.
All right, but to give you a little more of a taste, and you guys feel free to do this research. My family will be going out to Kentucky because my sister recently moved out there for a teaching job. I want you to connect what I just said to Kentucky because there is a certain individual who has. Oh, I'm sure you guys will figure it out. At least the Americans among us, and probably
Colonel
some
Sanders.
A certain prisoner or ex-prisoner. Would be a certain ex-prisoner. I believe his number was.
Oh, you mean inmate number 0645-2017?
Indeed.
Oh, I know that inmate number.
You're in the ballpark. You're in the ballpark.
Yeah. He's referring to a certain individual who built a a rather substantial rowboat out in the middle of a farmer's field.
Yeah, cool.
Didn't that
Congratulations,
same...
Have
Sorry.
we already had people go there?
Congratulations, Logical Troglodyte. You win extra mastodon meat.
Like meat good.
All right.
But yeah, I
we
will
do
be-
have-
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I will be doing videos on both the Ark Encounter and the Asian Museum built by none other than Ken Ham. So I will be getting some little help on this. I'm going to try to get some contact with some guys who know what's in there, because fuck actually spending some money on there on a holiday.
Good
Sorry,
point,
guys,
good
but
point.
I'm not gonna. Not one single dime is going to that bastard. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You know.
that's a great call, because as everybody knows, the best hams are always smoked.
There you go.
I prefer honey baked, but whatever.
Now we're going to get into ham, are we? Or
Well,
Canadian bacon,
Ken
as
may
it's
be
called
baked.
sometimes.
You baked on something, that's for sure.
Damn it, Dick. We are not having the Canadian bacon argument again.
No, we already know the answer. It's not fucking bacon. It's ham. I agree with everything you just said. Besides, one of the shirts I'm working on, I gotta get somebody to draw a picture of my beaver bent over, and like there's gonna be like a bum flap open. It's gonna have two little hams at the back, and I gotta say, "Kiss my Canadian bacon."
Oh, that's funny. Well, I'm sure the stream is yellow now for sure.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Awesome.
Are we talking about Riley's stream?
Yeah.
were,
Yes. Yeah. Anybody catch that?
He peed.
Right.
He peed. I'm team he peed.
I'm gonna say one thing about Riley's stream. There's been a lot of speculation about what exactly is going on below the frame. All I am gonna say is look at his face. That is
No.
That is the
That's
guilty
not when he
face.
peed, though.
That is the
He
guilty
peed.
face of a man. What?
He peed when he covered the, because if you watch okay, so when he pours it, he's not peeing. Sean and team I heard are going to debate this. Actually, I don't believe he's peeing. I'm team he's not peeing in the first part. He's peeing in the second part, because what he's doing is he's clinking glasses together and he's emptying a cup into another cup. He's got to make room. He's got to pour his bottle out or his cup out. You can hear the glasses clinking in the part you're talking about. You're right. He's concentrating because he's pouring it, right? But then later at 2 hours and 25 minutes and 16 seconds, he literally types in the thing, "Be right back, Lou." LOL, LOO, which is British for bathroom, and he reaches up and puts the flap down on his micro, or on his camera, so it's a black square at that point, and you never hear him leave. He's there the entire fucking time. You can hear him in the background, and if you listen carefully, I was watching it on my stream, you can hear a little ting, you can hear a little clink at some point. It's very subtle, but if you're listening, I'll have to find the exact time. You can hear a little ting in the background of something tapping. Well, there's that same fucking cup sound again, tapping, and then all of a sudden 30 seconds later, 40 seconds later, the flap opens up and there he is at the microphone. He just went pee. Well, you never stopped hearing him.
Wow.
So he said, "Be right back, Lou." So I mean, that's what I think happened, is he prepared it and then peed.
I think he has a glass tip catheter then.
I think
That's
the
the
clinking
ting, is
sound
the
was
catheter.
really nice.
Like, go watch it again, Dead Kennedy. Go watch it again and see what I'm talking about. The part where you're talking about, yeah, he's definitely pouring and he's concentrating and everything. But then if you watch it 20, 25, and 16 seconds, here, 2 hours, 25 minutes, 16 seconds, he says, "Be right back, Lou," closes the thing, and you got to listen real carefully. You can hear him.
I am watching it right now, and I'm trying so hard not to laugh.
It's literally right in the chat thing. He says, "Be right back, Lou." He types it in.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sure that's where he's peeing. He was preparing, and then he peed later. And you can see it where he does that. It's the eyes of a man who has to pee. You can see the yellow in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, what the fuck are we talking about now?
Anthony Riley pissed on stream. You have to go watch
Yeah.
it and figure that out. You're behind
Yeah,
the
he
shit.
pulled an allegedly Dave live on stream and gulped it down like
And
he had
Jam
nothing
Jam
else
Truth
in
got
the
abandoned, so you should go look that up too. That's fine.
Jesus.
He got abandoned.
I remember now what I buzzed in for.
I'm slowly realizing something here, guys. My parents can probably hear most of this.
Well, that's just kind of how we roll. Tell them sorry, but what can you do?
Are they in the chat? Say hi.
No, they're not in the. They're not in the chat, but it's worth a try. Hi, Mom and Dad.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
This makes you feel better.
Yeah. We took all this time to get me into a college, and I'm talking about people who are pissing on the internet.
Yeah, my personal theory is that clink that we heard was his brass bahoogies tapping against the glass, because they got to be made out of brass with the amount of line he does with that straight face.
Brass? I'm surprised they're not made of adamantium.
That's a funny one. There was another joke like that was told the other day. Damn it, I know I'm not going to be able to remember. Too bad. It was a good one though. It was a really good one. Do you think this could amount to war now between allegedly Dave and Riley over who's king of drinking their own urine online?
No, because Riley has no accusations of drinking it against him. Like this is something. This is just him being stupid and lazy, like too lazy to get up and go to the toilet that's probably 10 feet away. Whereas allegedly Dave, he intentionally ingested his own piss, did he not?
Well, maybe they're just collecting, so they got some new stuff in their merch store.
I feel weird considering I just drank some ginger ale before getting into the stream.
You said yeah, and stream at the same time. It's a funny word for this conversation.
Oh, God damn it!
Oh man, I don't get the whole thing. How do you fall down the rabbit hole of conspiracy to the point where you believe that drinking your own urine is good for you, and you're willing to ignore other people that are educated in the field telling you, maybe you really don't want to do it unless absolutely necessary? How do you get to that
drinking urine video? That's fun. Drinking urine, that's good stuff, guys.
I think that's borderline the point of where we got Scientology, Dick.
I still want to go into the Scientology office in the city. I took a picture of it the other day while I was parked beside, I was in the intersection sitting beside it, and I just really want to go in there and get my thetans read. Wait, I swear it would be such a great video if you went in there with a lapel pin and actually did that. But they make you sign a whole bunch of shit before they even say a word to you.
Wow, really?
They won't even. Oh yeah, you sign away your. I might be wrong, but I've been told you sign away. Well, because they won't even. For instance, the whole. If anybody actually knows the story of Scientology, it's fucked. If you watch the South Park episode, they literally go through. They tell you the actual story of Scientology, and they literally had to. Well, they have to put up on the screen, we're not joking, this is actually what they believe, because it was so fucking crazy what they're throwing up there that you're like, oh, South Park must be taking the piss. Oh, no. They were no, the actual religion is Lord Xenu, 3 trillion years ago, older than the universe itself, by the way, at that point. There was too many people in his galaxy. It was overpopulated, so he had all of the aliens frozen, and then he transported them to Earth, to ancient Earth, and they literally in jets that are in spaceships that look like 727s, and then they dropped them into the volcanoes of Earth, where the spirits rose up from all the aliens and started just circling Earth, and they were all lost. And so the idea is that they needed a form that they could inhabit, and humans finally came along. And so now the thetans, the thetans or whatever they're called, they get into us, and those are the thetans or whatever. They're the reason that we feel anger and pain and sorrow and anguish and all of these like depression. All that stuff comes from the thetans that have overwhelmed our body. And the only way you can get rid of them is you have to go in, sit down at one of their fucking desks, and put your hands on this goddamn e-reader and get your E levels read or your thetan levels read, and then they tell you what your E level is. And I guess you have to follow Scientology to rid yourself of the thetans or whatever. It's really fucking crazy, that religion.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought they were like metachlorians, and the thetans was a good thing.
No,
so
the
what do I
thetans
know?
are bad. You need to rid yourself of the thetans. The thetans are, but they're Hubbard. They're the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard. In order to be L. Ron Hubbard, you'd have to have a thetan level. Like thetans are something you need to attain a certain level in the actual Scientology, but it's also seen as a bad thing, I guess somehow. It's a very, but it's all science fiction. I mean, the guy was a science fiction writer who was caught on a boat with young boys multiple times. He was a pedophile science fiction writer, and he said, I'm going to start a religion. He was a novelist. He was literally a fucking writer, and he wrote Scientology, and boom, religion.
If I might, a couple of things. Number one, I would have expected a lot better from an actual professional writer. And number two, here is a much simpler way to deal with this little overpopulation thing if this guy was as big as an asshole as we think. Here's a hint.
Dead Kennedy's been wanting to get in here, guys.
Yeah, get in there.
Well, we've been talking a lot about Scientology. It was DC-8s, by the way. The ships look like DC-8s.
That's it. Thank you. But it was a plane. Either way, it was awesome. I'm like, what a description.
It just so like that's how he describes it in the book. Is they look like DC-8s. But my favorite little kind of fun fact about L. Ron Hubbard is I think I still have this somewhere. I used to have this picture. I had it saved of the first time he ever had Dianetics published in the amazing the magazine of Astounding Science Fiction, 1957.
Well, we have to make this clear to everybody. This is all speculation, and that none of this is necessarily true. Legal term. Don't sue us, Scientology. This is all possibly hearsay. So
Scientology is a cult. Come after me, Tom Cruise. I fucking dare you.
Oh, they actually are very. I'm not even kidding. They are very litigious. Apparently, they will actually legitimately sue you, like for saying shit.
Wow. We missed a super chat I should read out there. NANA $6.66. I love it.
Let's face it, the only way they keep that way is by being litigious. Sorry, I was just gonna say the only way they keep that way is by suing. They keep people's mouths shut. If you are one of them and you try to reveal the secrets, they try to do everything they can to keep you under wraps.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they play that up big in that too, in that episode. So, my screen just scrolled. I can't find that super chat anymore. Does anybody want to try it again for me?
I got it. It was
all right.
They said, "Are flat earthers still drinking pee? Hail Satan." Apparently, yes, they are.
Tom Cruise in the closet episode too.
Yes,
Any.
Because that's my favorite episode of all of South Park. Now I'm in the closet.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we've got Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and what's his name there? R. Kelly are all in the closet. Remember the door opens up and he goes, he's like, listen, Tom, if you won't come out of the closet, will you at least let me come in the closet, okay? And it's like, so the door cracks open. He comes in, you just hear him go, actually, it's really nice in here. Yeah, and then it's like, no, I'm not coming out of the closet either. It's like, fucking John Travolta's also in the closet.
That was a good one.
Tom Cruise was packing fudge at one of the fudge packing plants. He was actually packing fudge.
I'm not packing fudge. I am fly fishing.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, gotta love it. Oh, the Scientologists. They came along and made the Mormons look absolutely normal. Or no?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, and
you're right. You
the
nailed
Church
it,
of Jesus Christ. What are those guys? Are they the Mormons?
Latter-day Saints.
Are they? They are the Mormons, aren't they?
They're the same, right?
Aren't they Mormons? Maybe I'm wrong.
I think Church.
No, babe, you're right.
Latter-day Saints. That's the Mormons.
No, they are the Mormons. Then okay, that's what I thought.
Joseph Smith, the hat and the plates, right?
Shit, if you called him, I know somebody who phoned them when we were elementary school, and he phoned that number like, if you want the Lamb of God delivered to you for free, and he called, and they sent him an entire package in the mail of like all the different things, a bunch of like books and literature and all that stuff. Shit, they could not get them to stop phoning the house after that. It was years. Finally, one day one day she picks up the phone and she's like, "Oh no, Tyler passed away." And they're like, oh my God, oh please, blessed be with you and everything. They're like, oh, would you still like us to send that, that information? You know what? It's a really, that was kind of his thing, and it's a really sensitive subject. If you could not call us anymore, please, that would be great. Oh, absolutely. And they never called again after that. But like, they literally had to tell him he fucking died because they wouldn't not call.
Wow.
Dear Lord.
That is just that's insane. I know a similar story with Jehovah's Witnesses. An old neighbor of mine was nice one day, all hung over, and was just polite and stuff instead of just saying, fuck off or leave me alone or whatever. Exactly. Yeah, and holy man, they were over like, every weekend for 6 months or something crazy. Dead Kennedy.
I just remembered I've got a great story about Jehovah's Witnesses. The only time I ever interacted with them at all, because I grew up in the country. Well, sort of. At this point, I was living in the country, and I was like maybe 14 years old, and I was in a really kind of gothy phase. I had the stud bracelets and the stud belts and all that kind of shit. And I'm at home. I'm by myself. Everybody else has gone from the house, and I'm blaring "Cradle of Filth" as loud as I possibly can, and suddenly I realized there's a knock at the door, so I paused.
I saw them coming. That was strategy.
Well, that was the best thing, is I didn't hear them coming at all. They knock on the door. I open the door, and I've got this music playing in the background, and I'm dressed up like a teenage goth. And the woman with the pamphlet, she just looks at me and she goes, "Can I just leave this here with you?" And then just leaves.
Scared out of her mind.
She didn't even want to try with me. It was just like, no, this kid's hopeless.
Good defense strategy,
Kevin. Kennedy, that might have just saved your ass.
It might. I heard if you give them any attention at all, they will come back. Like if you give them any friendliness at all, they come back again.
That explains why they. That might explain why I always see like a Jehovah's Witness little like booth thing at my college.
They thought you were pretty. That was different. That was very different.
Let me just tell the story. So, like, this is a community college, and we're a pretty nice place. I mean, I've seen them around a few times. I mean, like maybe once or twice a week. And yes, I have heard of the horror stories of Jehovah's Witnesses, but I'm not going to just start a huge, humongous like fuss with these guys in the middle of my college. I'm too nice. And I'm from New York, and that's, I mean, like, no, I'm absurdly nice for being someone from New York.
Canadian New Yorker.
But you can't say sorry like a fucking Canadian.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
There you go. You got it.
I'll tell you what, Americans. Is there an A anywhere in the word sorry? No, it's sorry. What's the matter with you?
All right. Let me just finish my freaking story. But basically, all I do, and this is all I basically do, because it's usually whoever's like there, like usually the more elderly folk, and I literally just give them a wave and just walk and just keep walking. Just keep on walking. That's the best I can do. Just like, don't be rude, but at the same time, like, I don't really see anyone like stop at their booth. So I mean that's hopefully something, but I just like catch a little glimpse of things like, was life created? I'm just like, oh my God, do I really need to answer that? Or is that a rhetorical question for you? I mean, okay. But created in the sense of like what the creationist definition, I should say. But I mean, like, I'm not sure what the rules are about that kind of thing. I know they had to go up with run that up the flagpole about setting that stuff up, because it's right outside like the student center where the bookstore and the cafeteria is. And, I mean, I've had some questions about why my community college would let basically a cult around campus grounds. But I'm just like, I mean, just like, hey, I don't run it. I just go here for my education. I have been getting a perfectly fine education. Nothing really like raising any red flags for me. So I just continue that as it is. And like, okay, this is just them like promoting their own thing. That's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me. I mean, why cause over? You don't really need to, right? Just do your thing.
Yeah, I just go on my day, get food at the cafeteria, and on Thursdays I just go out and go ice skating.
Did you see the Family Guy episode where he was getting in a tiff with the Amish people? And he was like blowing down. He was like getting into it. There was like a battle scene where he was shooting at the Amish, and he fires a rocket propelled grenade and blows up their barn. And then they literally, like, the barn crumbles, and you see all the Amish people, like, it's like a fed, like they just like pour over it, like almost like just like bugs almost, like you can hear all the hammers, and they build the barn back up, and he blows it up again, and they build the barn back up in 2 seconds. Like, it's like their superpower is like raising a barn in fucking 2 seconds.
Is that the same episode where they make that joke?
Yeah, that's like the episode where that's like oh, sorry.
Which one?
No,
Go ahead.
No, Dead Kennedy, you started first. Just spit it out. What were you going to say? Which episode?
Is that the same episode where there's like a one-off joke where they compare him to like the Mennonites, and they're like those shifty Mennonites, and it cuts to a bunch like on the street playing with jacks?
Yeah, I think it's the whole episode, because it's the one where their car breaks down and the Amish people are fixing their car, and Meg falls in love with one of their people, and anyways, like, the wife is on the burlap again, like.
Yeah, I just found it. I mean, you gotta just, like, they fired like 1,000 rounds and didn't hit a fucking thing.
I don't quite remember that much, but I do remember parts of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I remember. Like, it was like an episode of the A-Team, like just belts of ammunition were used and not a single, and they didn't hit the. I'm surprised the rocket even hit the barn.
Reminds me of an old movie. Was it Vanishing Point, where the car actually missed the barn, but they just triggered the explosion anyway because the stunt driver couldn't handle the car and he missed completely. What are you gonna do, right?
Basically, set off all the napalm.
I made a total stunt yet.
So, maybe we should pull it back into where we usually are on this show. I'm not sure how we got onto that at all. But,
because you brought me on. That's what fucking happened here.
Yeah.
It'll take you anywhere.
Oh, man. I'm not even sure where to go after that. Anybody got any thoughts here? We do have some time. Yeah.
I just wanted to. I remembered what I buzzed in for the first time now. And it was basically, we were talking about kind of like the state of the union, basically, among flat earthers. And people were talking about, well, I think it's just a changing of the guard. The old ones are falling out and the new ones are coming in. But the new ones are such a mess, like we've got JM's movie falling apart. We've got Riley submitting the biggest joke of a thesis in the world and then pissing on stream. Like the Globe lied to her.
JM got abandoned. It wasn't his fault.
Of course. But like, all of the big names, it's just a mess. Like, everybody's falling apart. And it's like, we fight.
It's because they don't agree on anything, because they're making all the shit up.
Can I just say what? First of all, is Nathan Thompson new or old guard? I don't remember.
I'd call him old.
Yeah, well, Thompson, I mean, like, admittedly, Thompson was maybe bottom of the totem pole. At least guys like Jaren, FE Core, at least they put in a little bit of production and effort into their stuff. That's the most credit I'm ever going to give those assholes. I'm just throwing that out there. But you look at guys like JM and like Ross Thatcher, and you're like, these guys are a mess.
Yeah.
I'm not one to talk.
My production. Jesus.
Well, speaking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of JM, Bella Charge threw a super chat into the ring there. Thank you. New Zealand $2. Sounds like a JM movie. That was into reference what we were just saying before there. So perfect tie-in, because that JM, I mean, this guy makes it sound like he's some, unbelievable top level film school grad, and everything he touches is garbage. Like, it's not even produced well, let alone the content itself. It's junk.
I mean, I'm probably not one to talk about production value. I mean, if you've seen my videos, it's bare basics, but at least I try to keep my camera steady.
Yeah, but you don't bludgeon people with the idea of having a Master of Science degree, when it comes to making videos and movies.
I'm just an average Joe. I mean, I'm just an average Joe who likes science. I've always made that clear. I'm not perfect. I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah, nobody is, right? That's some of the thing these guys got to get out of their head, like that unbelievable arrogance that Pratt comes off with when he makes a video. It just makes you cringe because every little experiment he does with that, see, you can't, and that big grandiose attitude of arrogance and self-righteousness he has is
He looks like Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad with none of the badassery. Doesn't he?
He really does. I really enjoyed that.
It's like he didn't die after. It's like Mike Heisenberg didn't kill Mike. He just shoved a block of like a whole thing of meth down his honker, and he just went nuts.
He lobotomized him and threw him in a ditch, and now he's Daniel Pratt.
That's right. The bullet didn't kill him. The bullet didn't kill him. He was just Walt didn't let him die in peace.
Too funny. Too
I gotta
funny.
say though, I agree with
the jokes today.
What was that, Kevin?
Was it you, Dick Dawson, who was saying like the sheer arrogance of someone like Pratt? Like that is something that drives me nuts. Like, look at me. I just disproved 2,000 years of science, and I'm some asshole in his garage strapped to the water heater. Like, how full of yourself can you be?
To be in flat Earth, you've got to have a huge amount of arrogance. It's necessary. It's in the genes. You've got to have it. Otherwise, you're just going to fail.
Because you have to think you're special, right? You have to think you're part of God's special plan, and you figured out the truth.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you see the street evangelists out, talking their bullshit, and they're just repeating shit that's been debunked thousands and thousands of times before, but they just like reset and go back to the same old arrogant issues that to just try and stop people in the street and confuse them, and it is arrogance.
Absolutely.
It's not even just stupidity. It's just arrogance.
Yeah. And the arrogance comes from serious Dunning-Kruger, as far as I can tell, because it's the only thing in them that could give them that level of arrogance. Like, I've beat the system. I'm on top. I'm the one that really knows.
It prompts one of my favorite quotes from Charles Darwin that I've learned about. Ignorance more begets confidence than it does knowledge. It is those who know little, not those who know much, that say that this or that problem will never be solved by science.
Good one. I like it
very
much.
But Charles Darwin is a Satanist, Masonic. I don't know. I forgot all the buzzwords.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I even like
Nazi. Is he a Nazi?
That's a good buzzword. Yeah.
Some of them would say.
Werner von Braun was a Nazi, even though just like when I read up on von Braun, I mean, like, it's very interesting because I've seen creationists, because von Braun was actually religious. He believed in God. Like, they used him saying, "Oh, look at this rocket scientist. He believed the world was created," and just like butchered what he said when he said the world was created. And then I see flat earthers. They flipped the script about von Braun.
Well, you know what they love to say about his gravestone, right? He put what is it? Psalms 2018. I can't remember the exact numbers, but he put a Bible quote on it, or had a Bible quote put on his gravestone. Which, by the way, most people don't decide what goes on their own gravestone. You're usually dead when that's made. But it was something to the effect of and the firmament showeth God's handiwork. He was basically saying, if you were to take the quote in context and assume that von Braun wanted it there, it was basically him saying, "Thank you, God, for the work I did exploring the stars in the sky." But flat earthers take that and they go, "Look, he said firmament. He's telling us the firmament exists."
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
Very much.
Well, my gravestone is
ridiculous.
my gravestone's going to say, "I told you I was ill."
I'm trying to figure it. I'm just going to say on my gravestone, I'm on the highway to hell.
Yes.
Keep it easy. I like it.
Hey, my 2-year-old is 2-year-old is telling you guys that she's looking at my screen and saying, "I want to say that again. You want something else?"
Yeah.
I want something else. She says. I'm like, well, that's what I'm doing. Hey, you want something else? Yeah, she wants something else. She said
Well,
it.
Here, why don't we all do a round of Del cows for the little one? She might like the cows.
No.
Did it work? What the hell are these guys doing now?
He looked confused for a split second, then she started saying things to me. But did you hear them, little one? You hear him? Say something. She knows she's way talkative. Now she doesn't say a thing. It's like she knows. Say something. She smiled and just looked. There you go.
Brilliant, man.
She's saying, "I want something else, Daddy." That's what she just said. Anyways, that's enough of that.
Oh, that was funny.
My heart just melted.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, we're coming up on an hour and a half. I wonder if we shouldn't get around the table and get some last thoughts out of everybody and whatnot. Who wants a shot at open freedom, flat earth, pseudoscience, attack it how you will, shill yourself, all that good stuff. Let's see here. Kevin, you want to go?
Yeah, just because it's still kind of relevant. Nash Scott asked, "What does firmament even mean? Like, what did it mean at the time?" So, firmament comes from the 4th century Vulgate word. That's the Latin Bible, was the Vulgate, firmamentum, and firmamentum was translated from a Hebrew word raka or rakia. I'm not quite sure how to say it, but that word simply meant expanse. It basically, the firmament just refers to the sky. And nothing more. And that's why I always challenge flat tires whenever they mention the firmament. Even the Bible, which is full of wrong world information, does not say that there is a firmament over the earth. It does not mention a dome. It just talks about the sky. And that's the level of people we're dealing with here. People who misinterpret religious texts and misinterpret the basics of science and assume that they're smarter than the last 2,000 people who came, or the last 2,000 years of history that came before them. And it's really sad.
What was? Go ahead.
Yeah, who wanted in there?
Hey, DTK, or what the heck's he called?
DKG.
DKG. Hey, why haven't you been releasing a lot of videos? I went and saw your stuff, but I see it's been stagnant lately.
Because I found better things to do.
That's
I was DK. I was nicer about it. I said I was busy with education.
Yeah, well, that didn't last long. You're hanging out with us.
Indeed.
Yeah, fair enough.
Indeed.
Well, the semester's almost over, so it's winding down. So I got some more time on my hand.
Time to play. DKG, what kind of video do we have to find you so that we could bring you back into the ring a bit and get some debunking done?
I have no idea. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you got so many. When I started doing it, there wasn't that many people doing this sort of stuff. Now there are so many people doing it, and everybody jumps on the wagon straight away. So yeah, I don't know if there's a space for me anymore.
There's always a space for you. It's just that there was an explosion of us that occurred around the same. I guess there's a bunch of us watching from home and getting very annoyed, and then we all just kind of entered the ring around November or December last year for some fucked up reason. Because that's when a lot of us started at the exact same time. It's very unusual. In fact,
I started in January.
It was clearly that we were there were chemtrails or something, and we were like Manchurian candidated into this.
See, what I always say to people is we are the answer to what's happened. I don't mean like we should have a cape on and people should think of us as heroes or anything, but this is like any imbalance, but it's like any imbalance in a market. So you had YouTube, you had all these flat earthers and conspiracy theorists pushing all of this junk, and they're getting paid for it. And so then, along comes when anytime you have an opening, there's somebody's going to fill it. So if I didn't fill it, or if Dick here didn't fill it, or Team Skeptic or Fight or all these people, Creaky, if we weren't filling these spots, somebody else would have filled this spot. So it really was just kind of like a inevitability, I think, just because of the void that the conspiracy theorists were leaving for information, for people to fill it with, like, pointing at them and laughing and saying, "You're dumb."
Yeah. It was. I started it around January, and just again, I ate it. Well, DK, if you ever run out of stuff, if you ever get bored, experience science. You never run out of things to correct that guy on.
Dear God, no.
I've yet to get through a single one of his videos because I pause it every 2 seconds and just go.
Which
no.
one? Who?
Spirit Science.
Spirit Science.
The blue guy and what's the other guy? Is he brown or?
That's racist. Calling people brown. The fuck.
The dude with the weird dude with the dreadlocks from the moon, from his moon video.
Yeah, the guy who thinks like the moon is like a hydraulic press and some shit.
Oh,
fuck.
Dear God.
Did you guys see the Flat Earth prank call at all? Did you like Unirock played it on his channel? Did you see that? What is it? What's the channel? He had them on there the other day. I'm just looking at the name here. It's Ecoplex TV or something like that. Eco something on Twitch. Eco. Did you guys see them at all?
No.
Well, like here, listen. For instance, like
Yeah, I've seen the Ecoplex stuff.
But like listen, they called GM Truth, and like I won't display anything, but just listen for 2 seconds because I can pump it over.
Children moved to the West Coast, so after he passed, I came out here.
We got a good shout here from Factard in the chat, and he wants to make sure that we give a shout out for movie night for tomorrow, and definitely, absolutely, movie night tomorrow night. And Factard, if you could toss the link in, that would be awesome, man. Thank you. Awesome.
You gotta invite me over for the movie night. That sounds interesting.
I was gonna say, but all I was gonna get at here is like this guy calls JM, like right here. Here's JM. Listen.
What do you know about the Flat Earth?
I've been learning more about it. I was always
Shelly.
So yeah, these guys call. I don't want to play Unirock stream. You guys can check that out on Unirock or Ecoplex on Twitch, I guess. But they called JM Truth, and he was like, "How'd you get this number?" They're like, "Well, you have it on your website." It's fantastic. So, yeah.
Oh, I've got that queued up for later tonight. I can't wait now. That's awesome. Right on. Oh, yeah. Okay, everybody. Factard just dropped the link in the chat. So there's the link to head over for movie night for tomorrow. Give it a bookmark. Check it out. Awesome. Got to keep it going. The legacy must continue. Absolutely. Very good shout. Who wants to jump in with some more wrap-up stuff here? We got off track, but that's what we do around here. Aimee, you need to jump in with anything? What's going on your way? Oh, she might even be busy. Who knows? I just called her offhand there, so I don't really know. Logical, you around, buddy?
Yep, I'm here.
Logical there. All right.
I'm definitely here. I'm always here. You cannot hide from the cavemen.
So a good wrap up your way might be, because we were talking about this not too long ago, if I recall, is Flat Earth dying, revolving? What are you thinking?
I don't think it's dying. Stupid's always been with us. That's always going to be with us. They're just, like you said earlier in the stream, changing the guard. Some people are dropping out, but the new crop of flat earthers, they're not even as smart as the original crop. They're really devolving. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we go on to one of their channels and we find an amoeba narrating the stream. It's just that bad anymore. But there's no new arguments. There's nothing even remotely different in anything they're saying. It's just the same old rehashed buzzword crap that they don't seem to understand, that has been debunked for the last 7-ish years. I mean, come on, give me something new. Give me something I can sink my teeth into. Stimulate me.
Well, I want to toss this over to DKG Custom now, because, a lot of people say it's all been debunked. We're just saying the same things over and over again. But from the perspective of Flat Earth, what new could they possibly bring to the table? Because there's only so many of these bullshit little reasons that they can even cling on to, because most of it doesn't even make sense anyway. How do you see that? Do you think they could even come to the table with something new?
Well, they do come to the table with new things. The problem is the new stuff they come with is usually very, very esoteric and very, very vague. Like the terms ether band. You must have heard that. The ether band is the ether band. And it doesn't mean anything. and they have, and so what they're doing is finding areas of argument that are so vague you can barely argue about it. Even down to like the people when they're talking about observations. As soon as you get into that, it's all perspective, ether band, and atmospheric conditions. They're just straying away from the basics. When I started doing my debunking videos, the conversations was still pretty, what we say, almost coherent. There was something to bite into, a real thing. So you could show, like they say that that the horizon falls away from my level. So I use 360 camera footage to show that the horizon isn't falling away. The horizon is falling away. It's not rising to eye level. We can prove it with a 360 camera, things like that. And but now what I see happening is they're not really arguing anymore. They're just doubling down on their bullshit into the point where you have someone like Zoom Truth and his channel, which I think you got to watch. Keep an eye on that guy, because there's something going to happen with that guy. Because what they're doing is they're not even looking at the argument. They're not even looking at the discussions. They're just, we know the Earth is flat. That's the bottom line. So it's almost like they're regressing from the debate. They don't want to be in the debate because they can't win it, and so they won't have the debate. They'll just group together and try to double down on it.
Yeah. Yeah, Daniel Pratt recently put out a post saying, how dare you other flat earthers, sully your channels by letting these globagandists post in your comments and stuff. Like, that's really where it's gotten to. They don't even want the discussion. They just want to preach.
Wow. That doesn't sound like a propaganda minister of any kind, or
these idiots. They've totally forgotten that a good conspiracy theory has to have a grain of truth. So when Rowbottom was talking about the whole density buoyancy thing that Eric Dubay dug up and regurgitated, there was some truth in that. Density and buoyancy are things, but and it made you think, and it made you look up the science and figure out, why does density and buoyancy do its thing? The current crop has gotten totally away from it, like DK was saying, making up bullshit like the ether band. First time I heard him talk about the ether band, I thought they were talking about some folk punk fusion band.
No doubt, that's my thought.
Kind of why I got so into like all these conspiracy craps, because it was a good source of self-learning.
An old Mr. Multi Tom
about all this stuff.
Your lovely friend Multi Tom. He was in one of the chats, and he was saying that the truth is free, and I couldn't agree more. But I'd like to ask Multi Tom. I know he's not in the chat tonight, but I'd like to ask Multi Tom. How much is the live stream from the FE conference?
That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Well, we're hitting our hour and a half here, everybody. So I think we should, finally get it done. Aimee, you need to jump in with anything? Are you back now?
I think so. Can you hear me okay now?
Yay! Yeah, there we go.
I fixed it.
All right, good job.
My browser and everything. Thanks. Ash Scott had said, I still don't want to believe that anyone smart enough to make a YouTube account can be dumb enough to be an actual real flat earther. I don't even think Rowbottom was for real. And then Forever Learning says the arrogance level graph coincides with Mount Stupid.
Are you kidding me? I'm surprised people this dumb got a freaking driver's license.
Yeah, that's true too, because they do a lot of driving while doing it. Give her, Aimee.
That was pretty much it that I had for right now. Thanks.
Okay, right on. Well, anybody else want to throw a last word in before we're done here? Who wants the floor?
I'm gonna show you. If you want to put me on a screen for a second, I'll show you my flat Earth trigger toy that my kids have.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Come fly with us again soon.
Two things are getting sorted.
Tell me when I'm up there.
Yeah, hold on. He's going to flip you full screen here, I think.
I'm going to see if I can
do it. That looked funny. I want to see that.
Okay, let's see how that's going. And then, bear with me 2 wee seconds.
Yeah. No worries. We should set this up ahead of time, I guess, but we're never ever ready. Oh, I can pretty much see it now. I see Pacific Ocean.
Hold on, Will. I'll turn it on. I'm trying to keep it quiet until you. Are you guys? Oh, are you just waiting for me to do it from there then?
No, give me 2 seconds, mate. And we'll catch up.
Yeah. If we can bring it up,
There we go. Okay. And then we'll get there.
Turn off the green screen for a second.
Hold on. Make sure we catch that right now. We'll just full screen.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be this difficult.
There we go. All right.
Okay, so here we go. Turn it on. Okay.
Music and
We're gonna try. Okay, so we gotta go place.
to fly your plane.
Where are we flying our plane? Let's get tell us. Hold on, guys. Oh, we gotta line one of them up. I'm trying. It's difficult. Here we go.
Beaver's not a good child.
Here we go. Tell me.
Spaniard.
Spain. Ooh. Look at it. Here, we'll go to Australia where they don't exist. We gotta tip it back to that.
We need to put a crowd fund together to send one of these over to Oakley.
Yeah, but if you're not lined up, it doesn't. Anyways, you get the idea. Oh, wait.
But don't you see the plane? The plane's going upside down.
The Eiffel Tower. Ooh. Anyways.
Well, I guess tune in next week when we start our new show, The Shills, how we review kids' toys to prove globe Earth.
Oh, here, I'll turn the shit off.
Too funny. Well, I think that's an awesome point to end because, I mean, who could top that? We just saw the actual globe in the hands of, well, ostensibly sort of a child.
Big child. I'm very disappointed you're not actually an anthropomorphic beaver.
Yeah, there you go, right?
I had one fan that was very upset that I wasn't actually a beaver. No, she knew I wasn't, but she was very upset to see that I wasn't, to actually physically see that I wasn't a beaver for once and for all.
This happens to me all the time. I'll post a picture on Twitter where my arm is showing and someone will be like, "You don't have arms, you're a head in a jar."
Yeah, this woman was literally like, "No, I want to think of you as a beaver," and I'm like, "I that's your personal problems, to keep them away from you."
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least I put in the effort. I actually have the hat and trench coat here, people. I'm actually infected, even though I don't have a badge.
Hey, all you have to do is get a a butcher suit, and you're a professor. So
there you go.
Like a butcher, just like JM, you just got to get a butcher's coat.
What about a lab coat? You mean a lab?
No, butcher's coat. You just got to get a butcher's coat. That is a lab coat. That's a JM. JM was wearing a butcher's coat because it had nice little pearl fucking buttons on it and shit. It was like a chef's coat.
Okay, fair enough.
Bella Charge threw a super chat in New Zealand $2 to send the globe. Okay, yeah, we'll put that aside and we will get a kid's globe and send it to a flat earther that we can find an address for because some of them are dumb enough to publish them on websites these days. So I'm sure we could pull this off. That would be no problem, right? Let's do this.
Cece is also on his YouTube. Just so you guys know, if you want to call Cece, his freaking phone number's right on his YouTube page.
Oh, I remember that night.
He did the same thing. How'd you get this number? It's like, well, Cece, it's on your YouTube.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy.
That was awesome. Well, guys, I think we're done for the night. So at this point, what do we say here? I think we got to look at flat Earth from the outside and realize that it's not so much the concept, it's the people. And that's why at this point, I think a lot of people are just doing the point and laugh and not so much truly debunking them because it's just getting to the point of ridiculousness, right?
Yeah.
Poor Eratosthenes probably just fucking rolling in his grave, But what do you do?
He's doing like freaking somersaults in his grave at this point.
Yeah, so what do you do, right? We'll just keep it up, because that's what we do when we like it. So at that point, ladies and gentlemen, this was Pub Chat. We're the Shills. I want to say thanks to Constable Conspicuous. I want to say big thanks here to DKG Custom. Big thanks to Brainy Beaver. And we're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's say goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Later. Thanks, cowboy.
Don't forget about you, Beaver.